What's up, guys? Welcome to Grease Lightning Reactions. We're here for a review of a Dragon Ball Super Broly. I got to see it earlier this morning, and you guys know I've been highly anticipating this. So I thought I'd give out my thoughts on exactly what happened. We're going to start this with a little bit of a broad, just normal, try not to get into any spoiler territory, just so you guys can know a little bit about the feel of the movie. I will say, first of all, right off the bat, if you don't watch Dragon Ball Z, I don't think you should go watch this movie. There are a lot of things that they don't bother explaining. It does start with the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, some origin story stuff, but it's not enough to think that most people will super enjoy it, though the action is amazing. So maybe, possibly, but I don't know, there's a lot of fan service moments that longtime fans would truly appreciate, and you might not get the same level of appreciation for it. So yeah, I mean, I really think you have to be a fan of it. Now, I don't think you have to be you don't have to complete all of Dragon Ball Super to watch this movie, because I haven't watched the Tournament of Power yet. You guys know I watched the dub, so it hasn't reached that point yet, but I did not need to watch any of that. I got some insinuations, and there was one thing spoiled for me later on, but it wasn't a big deal to me because I figured it would happen anyway. But yeah, overall, I would say best part about this is the origin story. That was my favorite part. I think they do a lot of great things, fleshing out characters that we knew about but not enough about, fleshing out holes in the timeline where we were kind of assumed how things were a certain way, and they kind of showed them in a different light. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. So a lot of good lore based stuff, which was my favorite part of the movie. Action is amazing, and then I would say that the only part that I didn't really enjoy as much was the music, mainly because I think the songs were good, but the way they were implemented in the film, they kind of they changed the pitch of it or something, and it was really weird. And I was like, what's going on? It's these are good songs, and all of a sudden it just sounds really bad for some reason. I don't know what went on there. Maybe that's just, I mean, that's my own opinion. Music is very super subjective in that sense. But yeah, fighting, I think, is the best it's been in all of Dragon Ball Z. The choreography, I think some of the fights were better than others. There are some fights that incorporate some level of CG. I don't think those were done very well, especially after you put them side by side with something so high quality before with the other animation. Yeah, that's probably the part that made me cringe the most. But overall, I would say 100% this is my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie, favorite Dragon Ball series movie. The only things that come close to me are Battle of Gods and Resurrection F a little further down, but those two movies would be a little bit closer. And then the OG movies, I would say, are more further down. I don't know. I felt like the OG movies were more inconsistent. The pacing of this new film is amazing. It feels like it's going at such a great, you don't notice the time passing. That's what I want to say. I was ready to see an hour more of it, and apparently there was a 3-hour cut. I mean, 3 hours of content, and it was cut down to an hour and 40 minutes. So I would really like to see an extended cut. But yeah. So good. I mean, I was extremely satisfied. I was super happy. If you saw my pictures on Twitter, it's before and after. I was like, oh my god, man, it was amazing. So highly recommend going out to see this movie. Definitely watching it in theaters. I do think it would not be as good when you're sitting at home. So yeah, get out there and watch it. Now we're gonna get into the spoiler section. So in 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's start with the very beginning. So, I knew that we were going to get Bardock in the film. And I figured, I mean, I knew Bardock was in it, and I knew that, yeah, King Cold was in it, and I knew that King Vegeta was in it. So, I figured we'd go back now to Planet Vegeta. Little did I know that we'd be seeing King Cold's retirement, and it was amazingly done. You could feel the tension between the Saiyans and the Frieza Force, or should I say the Cold Force, as it used to be known 41 years ago. We get a little bit of timeline there, and yeah, we find out that King Vegeta is like the fourth King Vegeta. And so there's a succession there. They were all named Vegeta. So I guess like four generations ago might have been the first King Vegeta, and that was probably when the planet was found. I'm to assume. I don't know. Like giving Saiyan Scouters for the first time, I was like, wow, we're seeing all this stuff that, like, sure, we kind of assumed that King Cold was in charge before Frieza was. Since we get to see him for a little bit when he's coming down before Frieza gets destroyed by Trunks, right? But like he looked super menacing. Frieza coming in and saying like, you know, you like basically treating King Vegeta as nothing more than like a little worm. I was like, wow, like. And what a way to introduce Scouters. So he put it on. He's like, huh, I see some powerful like there's some power levels. They're kind of aimed at me, huh? Poof, poof, poof. Oh man, I mean, the start of the film was, oh man, I had a smile plastered on my face the whole time. And it was really interesting that, you know, we always knew that Saiyans were a warrior race, but we always assumed that they all had the same type of combat capabilities. But now we get to see people with like laser rifles and like people with different type of jobs, and I was like, huh, like a lot better like glimpse into like Saiyan lore, like that I really, really enjoyed. Also looking into like, I guess this is when we first get into the Broly situation, with which I love the backstory of Broly. Broly is probably one of my top three, probably my third favorite character right now, behind Teen Gohan and Vegeta. Man, he is. I'm telling you, man, I love the new Broly, like significantly more than the previous one, because they just fleshed him out to be like so terrifying and likable at the same time. It's so weird, but they pull it off. It's really weird. So we get that the nursing home, like not the nursing home, the nursing bay, I'll say, where Vegeta's in there and King Vegeta's looking at his kid. He's like, oh, his power is off the charts, he's growing. And then he sees Broly over there, and what's this low class like freaking child doing in here? And finding out that the reason why Broly is the way he is, you know, like you can see in the promotional material that he's like a berserker type, exactly like he was in the old film. But in the old film, it was like, right, like Goku kept crying in his sleep, and he just kind of got enraged. He's like a giant man child, basically. Much better backstory here, where the Scouters and the scanning devices were picking up Broly's power level, being significantly higher than Vegeta's, and that kind of put King Vegeta at unease. And he kind of exiled him because he didn't want anyone that was capable of anything more than his son, because he wanted his son to be the next big tyrant. He even said, like, you're going to be the next vicious ruler or something. It's like, okay, you want him to be vicious? Okay, I guess you really are freaking bloodthirsty Saiyan race. So, yeah, this is when we get Paragus finding out that his kid is going to be taken and sent to a planet devoid of, like life and like value. Normally Saiyans are sent out to conquer planets, but this planet has no value. Why is my child being sent here? He's still too young too. And that's when he realizes, yo, he's jealous. And the reason like that King Vegeta gives is like, oh yeah, he's gonna be way too powerful, and it's gonna be hard to control to our detriment. Which actually, when you think about it, turns out to be true, right? When you look at Broly at the end of the film, and he's like going on a tear and he's destroying like the freaking earth, and he had several blasts that, you know, Goku and Vegeta are commenting like, whoa, yo, if that had hit the ground, you know what would have happened? Like stuff like this. And then so Paragus goes after him, finding what was the guy's name? He takes like this random dude with him. I guess he knew him from the past, to go find Broly, and finds his pod down there. And there's these weird insectoid things. I'll say like Dragon Ball, I did enjoy Dragon Ball, but I don't know, every time like some weird creature is introduced or like some alien creature is introduced, I just find myself a little unimpressed. Maybe because everything has been so established in the Dragon Ball series. Like, I'm watching the Tournament of Power, right? And we get to see, like, well, I'm about to watch the Tournament of Power. You see all these aliens, basically beings from other planets, other universes. And I don't know, the design of outer species has never really caught my attention. You know, like we've got dinosaurs, we've had Namekians, we've gotten Cell, Frieza Force, different alien bug looking guys with different color schemes. Like, that was enough for me, and now we're getting these like weird like smiley things with like tentacles coming out of their faces. Like, okay. I can't really get terrified or excited about this, but hey, I mean, it's just another planet. That's not the point, right? So we have that. They're looking around for Broly, and they find Broly down there, and they finally find him, and he's like freaking eating out of this monster's leg. It's like, wow, Broly, like, like as a kid, he looks like a badass. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, we see Nappa, Frieza, Raditz, and Goku. None of them look as cool as freaking Broly does when he's a kid. It's like freaking crazy. So yeah, basically, they find Broly, and they find that he's gone into the Great Ape form, and he's taken down all these creatures, and they're actually stranded. So their flotation device got destroyed, which is weird. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, because I wasn't expecting them to be trapped until present day. Like, it makes sense why. Okay, I guess I should say this too. Like, why isn't... I know in GT, Vegeta has a mustache, right? Isn't the core lore that Saiyan's hair doesn't grow, right? Unless it's just the top of their head. Maybe facial hair is different, but it's not supposed to grow. It's a little strange for Paragus to have a full-grown beard when he didn't have that going in, but that doesn't really matter. Anyways, so they're stuck there for a while. I guess that's the last time we hear of them until present day, I believe. Yeah. Oh, I should say that freaking, like, when they find out that they're stuck, Paragus just turns around and shoots the other guy so there's less mouths to feed. And I was like, what? And he was talking about how no Saiyan should be trusted, and then he just shoots the guy. Oh, that was amazing. So, just that. And then we have 5 years later, that's when Bardock's coming back. Let me tell you, Bardock has become someone that is much more interesting to me, because of a few reasons. First of all, Bardock previously, we saw the OVA where he fights Lord Shield. We see him protecting Planet Vegeta from Frieza's Death Ball. He was like a ruthless dude who was, just like a battle-hardened veteran, Saiyan warrior, bloodthirsty kind of type character previously, but now there's more nuance to him. I like that they made him a very smart character. First of all, like, all the Saiyans are being brought back. That's kind of really weird. There's like no situation that would call for this. It doesn't really make sense. And plus, like, the entire Frieza force is out there. He looks down, like none of this is making sense, and he starts hearing about the rumors that Frieza has found out about, like, the legendary Super Saiyan myth, and that's when he realizes, if he wanted to kill us, he could do it at any point, and what better opportunity than this? So yeah, I mean, Bardock I really like that he realized he was a smart character. So there's that. We see Goku's mom. I guess that's the one thing that was I was like, okay, it's a little old-fashioned, but the whole, like, it's strange to see, like, when Bardock eventually is like, yeah, we're gonna have to send Goku to a place that's, like, easily, like, we gotta send Goku away. I have a bad feeling that Frieza might be about to kill us. It'd probably be best to send Goku out somewhere to a planet that doesn't have too high power levels and isn't too technologically advanced. And if we make it out of here, we can just go get him and grab him back if my intuition's wrong, right? So yeah, when they carry the pod with Goku in it, and they're just like, what is it? I forgot the his wife's name, but she's like, oh, it's strange to see you actually care for our kid or something like that. And he's like, you're a male Saiyan. It's like, okay, sure. I guess it's a very old school dynamics, 41 years in the past. So, I mean, she does the cooking and takes care of the kid, and he goes out and fights. I guess. Sure, we'll go with that. Doesn't really bother me too much, but I was like, why is it so blatant with this? Okay. So it's that moment, and then we get a little, parenting moment with the Goku and the putting his hand on the pod and saying, like, do well. We get like the exact backstory of Superman, basically. So yeah, I really liked it though. I really, really did. I'm glad that Bardock got a little more screen time too. And then of course we get into Frieza coming outside and him doing the death ball, throwing it down. I think there was some footage cut at that point because there was some, like, when you look at it from the space view, you saw some specks which look like fighters coming up. Like if you remember previously, all the Saiyans were like in space. They'd realized what Frieza was going to do, and they were trying to fight him. And Bardock was taken out in space in the original version, but in this version, it looks like they're there, but they don't really go to the lengths of actually showing us what's going on. And when you look down, Bardock's all battered and bruised up before he tries to blast the freaking orb out of the air by himself, which is kind of weird. I would think that he would at least warn some of the other high-ranking Saiyans or something to try to pull off some kind of counterattack instead of waiting for what's going to happen. But yeah, I feel like there was some cut there, which I feel like I would really like to see what would happen there. So yeah, destruction of Planet Vegeta, I think it was amazingly done as well, because you go up there, and that was one of my most satisfying scenes when you're looking at Frieza's scouter and you just see the power levels dropping, and then it hits 0. I was like, oh god, that was really well done. And then of course we have the flash forward where we have the current day. Talking about how Frieza has been resurrected. That's the spoiler, basically. I just watched the dubbed episode where Goku goes to get Frieza, and he tells him, if we win the Tournament of Power, I will resurrect you. So, obviously, I know, yeah, I knew they were going to win anyway. It's fine. It's more surprising that he actually kept his promise, and he brought back Frieza. So, yeah, you find out that someone's been stealing the Dragon Balls. Bulma was gathering them to make herself a little more pretty. I thought that was a really hilarious segment right there. And then Frieza, of course, wanting to grow 5 centimeters. That was really funny too. Yeah, so we get the 2 new characters out on a mission to recruit more people. In the meantime, while the Dragon Balls are getting gathered, they get the 6, and they're going hunting for the one that's left over. And that's when what was her name? Chile, I think her name is, and L something. I don't know. I really like Chile as a character. She's really, really fun. I like her. She's a very likable character. But they're out looking for anomalies, and they come across a planet that Paragus and Broly are in, and that's the first introduction of Broly. He's freaking jacked, and he just comes out of nowhere and saves them. It was a freaking great introduction to Broly right away. And seeing him talk and like being super quiet and and seeing like different food for the first time, it was a really, really great moment. I was a little sad that they still had the shock collar treatment for Broly. I was like, how the hell did Paragus build a shock collar? Like, did he just take like parts of the ship and just make a shock collar out of it? How did he make the remote? Is he supposed to be a super smart Saiyan? That's stupid. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Chile, the other guy, and Broly bond pretty well. We get that scene for the first time where he gets shocked. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty brutal looking. Frieza is talking to Paragus, and they talk about how they should get together, and that Vegeta is still alive. You can get your revenge on King Vegeta. So that plan is hatched, and that, at the same time, we find out the Dragon Balls have been together. Meanwhile, Chile and Broly and the other guy are having a conversation about like the pelt that Broly wears is actually like this monster that he used to spar with, and he eventually befriended. And Paragus took out his ear, and he wears it as like a reminder of the friend he once had. I thought that was just so good. I really, really, I mean, I love Broly, guys. I really like that backstory. Some people I heard actually don't like it. I was looking up some people's opinions on the movie, and now that I've seen it, it's safe to search stuff now. But yeah, I really, 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 really like that. But he also said, they were talking about how terrible of a father Paragus is, which he is. He trying to turn him into a bloodthirsty monster, basically. But yeah, Broly's amazing. And when they land, and Goku and Vegeta, I'm going to try not to get into the weeds too much about this, but there's a few. This is when they come down, and this is when the battle starts, right? So we have Broly against Vegeta first. I thought this battle was the best part, fighting-wise, of the whole movie. They did transformations amazing. They finally brought back the charge-ups to get into certain states. Like, that's amazing. Going into Super Saiyan was difficult. Going into God mode was difficult. Going into Super Saiyan Blue was difficult. And then Broly, like, charging up. The cinematography was the best. They had a first-person, like, view of Broly beating up Vegeta. That was amazing. And then you had, what was it? There's this moment when Broly was hit underwater and the torrent came up and he's like slowly rising. That's when he started glowing green. That was amazing. Like, him slowly losing control was amazing. It's really nice that Paragus' remote was destroyed. I was really happy that happened. I really didn't want that to be a recurring theme later on. But yeah, that was all amazing. God Vegeta, God, Vegeta looks amazing. Oh, so good. And then when Goku fought him, I was a little confused with the whole I'm stopping you with my God powers bit. And then Broly learns it and he does it the same thing to him. And then he's beating the shit out of Goku, which was hilarious, actually, and really brutal. And eventually, Broly's beating everyone up. No one's winning at all. And eventually, Frieza decides, like Broly's like destroying so many things that volcanic activity has started, basically, all over the place, and that's how they end up there. And then Frieza has this brilliant idea. It's like, oh yeah, Goku got Super Saiyan when his loved one died. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot Paragus. Bam! That was like the most savage thing ever. So he shoots him, and then he's like, look, so one of the stray blasts hit Paragus. Your father, he's dead. And then he goes Super Saiyan, starts dominating. And this is when we get like Goku hatching the plan to turn into the fusion mode. Going into Gogeta fusion mode, doing the fusion dance. So we have I thought it was hilarious when Goku was running away, and then he popped up in front of Frieza, and then all of a sudden Broly just was annihilating Frieza. That was one of my favorite parts too. They do instant transmission. They go over to where Piccolo is. They teach Vegeta the dance. Of course, he doesn't want to do it. Guys, the world's at stake, basically. Get over your little embarrassment. Come on. So, of course, they go through all the forms of, Veku. And I don't know if both forms are called Veku, but the fat one was Veku, from the old Gogeta film. And then we get the skinny one. And then finally we have Gogeta, who is a badass. And then the Gogeta, when he comes back, him charging up was amazing. That blast from the sky that's in Dokkan right now was amazing. Them fighting. The one part I really, 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 really didn't like was when they went into some other interdimension. I just thought that was really stupid. I really did. And then that's also when things were moving so fast that they had to resort to going into CG. Why even do that in the first place? I really disliked that decision. And that was when I was like, okay, I hope this doesn't last too long in this state, but they kind of bounced out of it. But the hilarious part, I forgot to mention, they kept messing up and they have to wait 30 minutes every time. That means that Frieza was being beaten up for more than an hour. He was getting destroyed. He was about to get killed. Oh, man. And then, of course, Gogeta Blue shows up, starts dominating. destroying everything. But in the meanwhile, Chile, who is a befriended Broly, gets the Dragon Balls together, summons Shenron and wishes to save Broly. So as Gogeta's charging up the final Kamehameha, it's just like, saves him. I'm glad that they saved Broly, because I just love his character so much. If they do continue it, whether that's a film or a series, I will support that. But he's supposed to be stronger than Beerus. Does that mean, like, I know that Jiren in the Tournament of Power destroys everyone, right? Like, no one person in the Tournament of Power could really stand up to him. I don't know if Jiren, like, is Jiren at Broly's level? Is Jiren stronger than Beerus as well? I don't know. I guess I'll find out once I reach that point. But yeah, I'm happy that Broly survived, and then of course Goku goes to meet him. It was a really, really good ending to the film. Yeah, I mean, I will say, like I was saying, the chanting, the Gogeta, yeah, go Broly. That part was really screwed up in the film. I really liked that theme too. I was like, why are they screwing this up? But yeah, yeah, and the perfect ending where Goku basically finds another sparring partner, and he's gonna teach him a few things. If he's already at that level and he can learn to control what he's got, it's gonna be insane. Like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. Like, what's the next big bad? What's it gonna take to take him down? Ultra Instinct Gogeta? I don't know. But yeah, this was more of a ramble and like my individual thoughts of everything that happened in the movie. But yeah, whew. I mean, the only part that I didn't really like was the CG bits and what they did with the music. Everything else was phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it. I really did. I'm definitely gonna see it once it comes out on Blu-ray. I don't have time to like go out and see it in theaters again. Otherwise, I would. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the film. I was blown away. I just loved it. I loved it. I wish I could have that hour and 20 minutes that Akira Toriyama wrote out, but hopefully the Blu-ray has an extended cut. So yeah. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little review. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.